Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services, including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
It's a momentous event for us. This is our
Absolutely.
1000th show,
Yeah.
4,000 segments. And your firm has been involved with this since day one.
Absolutely. And first, let me say how proud I am to be your friend and part of this. And you and Greg Kearse, my mentor and friend, really were the groundbreakers in this, and really started really an important revolution in information and helping families.
Yeah, Greg and I, your former partner, unfortunately, who has passed,
Yep.
but a great visionary in this practice. In fact, taught me a lot of things that I do it today.
And you taught him. So.
Yeah, we began in the early '90s with the ground floor of elder law,
Right.
and we both realized that communicating this message in the face of just an abundance of misinformation was very difficult.
Oh yeah, I mean there was so much hidden information or misinformation, and the two of you really did a great job of ferreting out the reality of what these rules provide and protect people, and then sharing that. So that's just a wonderful thing for the community.
And so when we began in the early '90s, I mean, he and I were the blind leading the blind as we were trying to figure our way through this material. But we were in the forefront, both of us, the first elder law attorneys in our region, the first ones doing active Medicaid cases. And one of the problems is there's a sequence of urban myths out there that have been perpetrated by the government, discharge planners, nursing home types, just basically telling everybody there was nothing they could do.
Oh, you guys had guts, because there was the thought that you had the granny goes to jail and then granny's lawyer goes to jail. So by advising people, you were sticking your necks out there.
And so when we began in the '90s, we both realized we couldn't go to enough church senior clubs, we couldn't do enough seminars that we could begin to try to drive a wedge in that misinformation that there's nothing you can do. So I can remember coming to him in the mid-'90s and '98 saying, Greg, I want to do a television show. I want to talk to the public about these options that you and I talk about every Sunday morning now. And he said, absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah, and it was just a revolution, because for years what you always heard was, oh, you're going to lose the house, your wife's or your husband's going to be thrown out, all kinds of crazy things, because you couldn't go find this information. So the two of you were really instrumental in getting that out there.
And it was a passion. We both had a passion to protect families, and particularly in husband-wife cases, to protect the healthy spouse. And so, we began an endeavor which not only was, public information, and when we first started producing this TV show, everybody said it'll never work, nobody will watch it. In fact, we have, very significant viewership, and I know people come up to you every day and say, I saw you on the show.
Oh, I always feel sad for them, but and I say, you should be in church, but then they say, well, we just watch you while we're getting ready. So it's always, kind of humbling to know that folks are watching that.
And so as we began that journey, then he and I also began a journey with a national organization, National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, and so we actually had our first official meetings in Nashville, believe it or not. When we both saw each other were there, but we didn't know of each other actually doing this work.
Exactly, two Cumberland Valley guys ending up down in Nashville, and then really meshing your thoughts and passions in order to grow your practices, and it's just astounding what you were able to do.
Well, you know, and it had to do with, and this is what we view this show as all about. It has to be about the viewers. It's not about us. It's about trying to, get people into a better place, protect their retirements, to be certain that they're going to be secure for the rest of their lives. And so oftentimes, you'll see this stuff and you can tell it's all about the presenter, about them trying to, to grow their image. And, Greg and I started this thing right out of the gate. This is about educating the public. Tell them what they need to hear. We still don't run an ad on this paper, because it was never intended about that.
Exactly. It's just a public information show to dispel rumors and fear and things that just really impact our viewership and people throughout the country.
And as you mentioned, we've had significant changes in the law over this 20-year period. The strategies that we did 20 years ago are just not even relevant today.
Right.
But one of the ironies is the public still talks about them as if they're relevant.
Exactly. They may only experience this stuff once or twice in their lifetime. We're doing it every day, and so we're on, what we hope is on the cutting edge of the best and the smartest ways of dealing with these issues.
And then you and I in the mid-2000s made a decision to become board-certified elder law attorneys. Neither of our state bar associations recognized it at the time. Maryland still doesn't. But we said it forced us to go to the highest level of being prepared to deal with these cases.
Exactly. So after we were able to bring together all the criteria to be certified, we took a tough test out in Colorado, and in comparison to the bar exam, the bar exam ended up being kind of a piece of cake. But we were able to be board certified elder law attorneys by the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, or foundation anyway. And
then we had 2006, just a total change in the law, and so our practices were really dramatically changed. But more importantly, the public didn't realize the world had changed, and they still kept doing stuff that's really a problem.
Right. So there was a long period of time there where we were fixing a lot of stuff that had just become rote for a lot of lawyers and other folks who just did stuff not knowing the rules had been changed.
And so it's been 1,000 shows, almost 20 years right now that we've been working together, trying to educate the public, and to do what's in their interest, not what's in the law firm's interest, but what's in their interest.
Yeah, the law firm does well by taking care of others and taking care of our clients, and so I think we both continue that passion and joy and excitement of taking care of families.
Well, Tom, once again, I thank your firm for supporting us for 1,000 shows.
It's been my pleasure, Mike. Thank you.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Douglas A. Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. My guest today is Hugh Breslin, Vice President, General Manager, WDVM, and its various iterations for the last 20 years, part of having the vision to allow us to produce this show. Welcome to the show, Hugh.
Well, thanks, Mike. It's really my pleasure to be here, and really the reason I was here is it's a significant achievement in the time for both you and for us, and I want
Not too many shows been on the air, 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, I want to congratulate you. I don't know if it's been mentioned before, but this is the 1,000th show, and it's been a 20-year span. And I have to tell you, as I reflected on that, I can remember back to when we had conversations 20 years ago, and I think probably you and I might have been a pound or two lighter and had a few less gray hairs, but the reality is you had a vision for a show that would really help seniors and help folks who were contemplating retirement, and obviously your vision was met by our viewers who support the show, because we are celebrating the 1,000th episode, and that is an enormous achievement. I have a small token just for you to remember this day.
Before we do that, though, I think your point on vision is true, because we had a terrible cable show, and then I came to you with this vision, and this is not like any other show that's produced in the entire Nexstar networks.
That is correct. That is correct.
And so I started talking to you about it. You weren't super enthused, but you finally one day said, okay, I'm going to give you a slot, and you told me you had 2 weeks to get it together. You then gave me 6.
I'm not sure I remember it quite like that, but if you say so, that's good, yeah.
And so we produced this show. We have a lot of guests on that have been on it for the entire time, and your organization has been a great supporter of the program for a long time as well.
Well, we appreciate that, and our staff has had a terrific time working with you, and a show like this really doesn't sustain itself without being really true to its content, and more importantly, true to the mission of the people that you want and you're producing the show for them to see. And again, I congratulate you on basically hitting it out of the park with that topic. It's interesting, as you know, and our viewers know, we've changed our brand, I think, probably 3 or 4 times in terms of our call sign and our association with the network and everything else, but one of the things that stayed consistent for 20 years is contemporary retirement. So that's probably there's a big reason for that, for your success, is you've stayed true to the mission and your vision that you had back then. So I applaud that.
And you guys have done a great job of helping us produce it. I know your camera people and your directors and production people enjoy doing it. We have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, Greg Suchanik, our production manager, and has been helping to direct this off and on through the years. But Greg's been involved in the process all the way through, and so he and I have been there from day one. So it's been a lot of fun to watch the show all these years.
Well, Hugh, thanks for being on the show. I know you have something there.
Well, yeah, Mike, I just wanted to have a token of our appreciation and an acknowledgement of your achievement, and that is we just got an award for you that just recognizes and congratulates you on the 1,000th episode of the show and your 20th year of working with us.
Well, that is really
a
beautiful piece there, and I thank you. That's going to be in a position of prominence, because I love crystal, and that's a beautiful piece.
Well, congratulations, my friend.
The cake will not last that long.
I can assure you the cake will not make it out of the studio today.
Well, thanks very much. I really appreciate all of your support. We support the support of all of our viewership, because this show has actually very substantial viewership as well.
It's been our pleasure.
All right, thanks, Hugh.
Yep.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Guys, I thought you were supposed to be working in the yard.
But Dad, just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com.
If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Gabrielle Henry, Executive Director, Greenfield Assisted Living. Welcome to the show, Gabby.
Good morning, Mr. Day.
You know, oftentimes, we deal with assisted living, and first of all, there's huge misconceptions about the service level there, and the fact is the government's trying to get out of the nursing home business, which means they're licensing assisted living to do far more services than they could have done even as recently as 5 years ago.
Yes, that is true. Our assisted living in particular has really accommodated a lot of more needs with the activities of daily living that our residents require.
And so, and there's also Medicare is participating in that and allowing services to be provided in assisted living covered by Medicare, which was not previously the case.
Yeah, that is correct. So there are some Medicare waiver programs that are provided through assisted livings.
And that might be physical, occupational therapy, a number of other types of therapies that people traditionally viewed as only being in a nursing home.
Yes, so Greenfield Senior Living in itself has a third party through a therapy program that physical therapy, occupational therapy comes into our community. As our residents are transitioning into our community and they become adjusted to the routine, it's easier to have all of the third party practitioners, physical therapists coming into our community.
And so if it's covered by Medicare, it's going to be covered in your facility as well.
Yes, that is true.
Now, one of the great challenges that we have here, sometimes when people have full cognitive awareness, they might be aware of their limitations and they might agree to go to assisted living, personally acknowledging the need. But oftentimes we find the admissions for people with dementia are not that clear-cut.
Yes, that is true. So I ask families to be proactive in talking to professionals, seeing what they can accommodate for an assisted living program. A lot of times too, the caretakers wait until it's almost too late where they've had enough and they are no longer able to care and accommodate those needs of that particular family member.
And one of the challenges that we see here in this case is that oftentimes when it's a husband and a wife, the spouse is the caregiver, the spouse is in the same age bracket as the person they're taking care of, and they're at risk to having their own health issues, which then puts not only themselves at health risk, but it's putting the person they're taking care of at risk as well.
Yes, and we see it all the time. We see the caretaker kind of their health diminishing because they're constantly taking care of their loved ones 24/7.
We often talk to clients when they're having somebody that needs to go to a dementia unit. People are surprised. Most of the time the patient adjusts relatively quickly to the change, but oftentimes the caregiver family member is the one that's having a problem.
Yes, and we see that often too. What we offer is just a transition period. If you would come in into our community, we would offer you to come in with your family member to a bingo or an activity, a particular activity that kind of spikes their interest. That way both parties are comfortable, the resident, the future resident prospect, and the family member, so they can kind of see the dynamics of how our community works.
And to whatever extent they want to, they're free to come and go, the caregiver, to see the one that's being cared for.
Yes, that is true. So if you are the power of attorney or the guardian, you can kind of make up your own visitation hours.
No one woke up one day and said, today's the day I want to go to assisted living. And so oftentimes the family has to struggle with some of the emotional issues, and we advise people all the time is to talk to that provider because you're dealing with it every day. They're trying to invent the wheel.
Yes. What I say is it's an individualized approach. For those particular prospects who were really relying on their family members, I suggest the families stay in communication and be open-minded about transitioning into an assisted living.
And so it may be that when they're getting ready to move into their unit that you might pre-decorate it with stuff from their house already so there's a sense of familiarity.
Yes, that is the best approach that we've witnessed as they transition to the community, having the room kind of prepared for them. Similar furniture, if they've had their own bed, quilts, picture frames of their family members, so that way whenever they adjust into the community, they see that they have their own space and that their family didn't just abandon them. It was pre-planned.
And oftentimes, the most difficult is getting the person out of the house. So sometimes when you've already had a health event, perhaps a hospitalization, a skilled nursing home stay, that is an opportunity to sort of step down the level of care and see how it might work.
Yes, a lot of times too, it's easier to transition from a rehab or a hospital stay into another community where the need of care is higher.
And of course, your organization is focused on helping people understand how to afford for this care, because there are sometimes VA benefits, sometimes there's other benefits available, and even more importantly, people don't take into account the actual cost of maintaining a residence.
Yes, so we work closely with the families to see what they're able to accommodate. We also keep it an open book where, you know, as the disease progresses, as the care level progresses, so do the services, so do the finances. But we keep it very open, we host meetings, so nothing is ever a surprise.
And so if somebody wanted to visit Greenfield, how would they go about it?
They can visit us at 310 Cameo Drive in Hagerstown, Maryland, or you can give us a call at 301-766-9202.
Gabby, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation strives to be a forward-thinking organization.
We are assessing needs, working with donors to see things differently,
so that Frederick County can be its best. It's a wonderful place for all of us to live, work, and play.
We look forward to addressing the future needs of the community.
Visit frederickcountygives.org and learn how you can start to see things differently too.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Eitel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services, including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Pete Alexander, a partner in the regional accounting firm of Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Eitel, with offices in Hagerstown, Martinsburg, West Virginia. Welcome to the show, Pete.
Great to be here, Mike.
Pete, you know, the theme of today's show is the 1,000th show that we have done as Contemporary Retirement, and your firm was with us right from the beginning, including a prior lousy cable show that we had.
Well, congratulations, Mike. That's a heck of an accomplishment. Most TV shows don't get on for 2 or 3 years before they get canceled, so you must be doing something right.
Well, and I think it's an opportunity for all of our firms, and particularly, you know, the professional firms, to get a chance to talk to the public. You know, when you look at the traditional media, you know, 30, 60-second spots, there's nothing that you could tell a person that they needed to hear that might help them in a 30 or 60-second spot.
Not just that, but they seem to focus on the ultra-rich. They seem to focus on big business. They don't seem to focus on what most of us care about and what most of us live our life about every day.
You know, in the niche business that both our law firm and your CPA firm is saying, you know, we're not trying to represent Fortune 500 companies. We want to take, you know, middle-class folks, and sometimes a little better than that, and really help them maximize wealth.
Yeah, I remember going to college. They used to have us, it seemed like every class, whether it was auditing or tax, they'd have us merge IBM and General Motors, IBM and General Motors. When I got out of college, you know, I put on my resume, if IBM and General Motors ever merges, I'm your guy. They haven't merged yet, they haven't called me, and they're no longer what they were. You know, it's now Microsoft and a lot of these other companies, Facebook and everything else. So it's just different from what you expect to do, but you deal more with people's everyday issues and trying to make people wealthier, happier.
And make your money go further.
That's exactly right. It's all about, you know, dealing with the bulk of society instead of with IBM and General Motors.
And so our firms are really premised on customer service, talking to the customer. You know, I know that your clients can actually call you and get you on the phone, as opposed to some of these other organizations. It's really just not possible.
Yeah, other than the last couple weeks of tax season, yes. our firm is available. We're out there to call, and we do try to help out in the community as a whole.
And of course, I think the community is very important, because you have a huge commitment in your firm to supporting not-for-profits, whether either volunteering on the board or helping them with maximizing their opportunities as well.
Well, yeah, we've tried to do a lot of the same things that you've done in your company to be successful, and that is to be part of the community and let people know that we're out there and that we actually do care about the community. The better the community does, the better both of our companies will do.
And of course, we've had a lot of fun. You know, so when we started doing this show almost 20 years ago, the federal estate tax exemption was $600,000. There were all kinds of traps for middle-class folks, and a lot of this has evolved, and you have to pay attention to these evolutions.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was not only just $600,000, but it was $600,000 that had to be only one spouse got to use. If the other spouse didn't use it, and I mean, we got to the point where if you had a house and some nice investments, you had an estate tax issue.
And a little bit of life insurance, which is really the one that everybody forgets about.
Yeah, so we had to jump through a lot of hoops for everybody just to keep them out of having to give 20-30% of their net worth to the IRS. A lot of that stuff has gone by the wayside as the estate tax exemption has ballooned. And so most people aren't paying estate tax, and quite honestly, most people benefit from the estate tax law because when they inherit something other than IRAs, savings bonds, a couple of weird things. When they inherit something, they get it at the fair market value. So they can turn it around and sell it the day after they inherit it for no tax. Whereas if their parents sold it, they would have to pay tax on that gain.
And of course, our favorite story from 20 years ago was the one-time sales exemption on the sale of a house.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, and we must have did a wonderful job explaining it 20 years ago because people still remember that law, and we can't get them to focus on the new law because everybody remembers that one-time sales exemption on the home.
Which hasn't been the law for 10 years.
No, maybe more, and yet everybody believes that, and I know we've talked about the new law where if you've lived in the home 2 out of the last 5 years, you get a $500,000 exemption on gain, and you can do it over and over, and you don't have to be over 55 to do it. Yet everybody comes in and goes, I'm going to be 55 in 2 years, and I can finally get my one-time exemption that you guys talked about. And I try to blame you. I mean, I say it's Mike, not me. I couldn't have drilled it in that well. So you must have did a good job selling that 1 point.
With a lot of help from you. But anyway, we thank your firm for its support over the last 20 years. It's been good for both of us, and we look forward to a few more years, probably not 20.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I can hold out for 20 more. But yeah, congratulations, Mike. It's quite an achievement.
Thanks, Pete. Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.